Jake Auchincloss, a Democratic representative from Massachusetts, was just on Fox News discussing a few things like the general state of the economy, the struggles of everyday Americans, and the seeming divisions within the Democratic Party, specifically regarding the Senate's funding approval.
I think Americans are not that tuned in to what Beltway politicians are talking about at press conferences. I think they're very tuned in to what the Dollar General CEO is saying when he says that his consumers are only able to afford the bare essentials right now. This economy is inflationary right now. We are seeing spikes in home insurance, in car insurance, in utility bills, in food bills, in the cost to buy a new automobile. And you know what the Republicans' response to this is? Their response to this is, well, get ready for a rocky ride. And by the way, we're going to give tax cuts to the top 20% of earners in this country and pay for it by taking away health care from people who need health care. By taking away health care from kids who need it for primary care, from seniors who need it from at-home care, from people struggling with opioid use disorder. This is not going to scrub with the American people, and Republicans are responding by avoiding town halls so they don't have to take the tough questions.
None of what he said in that clip is a particularly hot take for any of us over here on this channel, but for a Fox News audience, they're not as used to hearing that kind of talk, at least not these days while Trump is in office. And the thing about it is that most of the Fox News audience can probably relate to a lot of what the congressman was saying in that clip. The Republicans I know personally are the first ones to complain about how expensive things are these days. The only difference, it seems, between the right and left is that we're all blaming different people and different things on why the prices are so high. We're all mad at someone or something different.
The cost of everything, not just eggs, bacon, groceries, gasoline, have increased because of the inflationary policies of the last administration.
But Auchincloss did well to point out to this Fox News audience that in light of all of the price hikes and inflation, the Republicans, who control the executive, the legislative, and essentially the judicial branches of government, are simply telling Americans to deal with it until it maybe gets better eventually, while they're actively giving tax breaks to the 1%. Trump supporters across the country are concerned that they will lose their access to health care because of those Trump tax cuts and because of Doge. I don't know why they weren't concerned about it before, but they are now. Auchincloss has been making the rounds on mainstream media recently, and he just did the Ezra Klein show with the New York Times, but he seems eager to represent not just a younger demographic or a younger congressperson, he just turned 37 back in January, but he, like so many of us, are frustrated by the Democrats' lack of conviction or fight when up against the Republican MAGA agenda. Throughout his interview on Fox News, the host made reference to congressional Democrats typically being tight on messaging and platform, but now we're seeing some breaks in that tightness. And that was interesting because personally, I never really thought of Democrats that way, but maybe that's because I'm on the Bernie side of things. I tend to see and hear more progressive factions of the Democratic Party because I'm paying more attention to them, like I imagine most of you are, but then I also see the rest of the Democrats move in sync against those Bernie types, so I guess in that sense I can understand where this host is coming from. But in this clip, Auchincloss was asked why he, like so many Democrats, have called for the abolition of the filibuster in the past, but have embraced its use against Republicans. Take a look.
So should the Democratic Party of the future keep the filibuster or not?
I think that's a debate for the Democratic Party of the future. And we're going to need lots of these kinds of debates about how we lower costs, about how we protect Social Security in the face of onslaughts to privatize it by Elon Musk and Donald Trump and Senator Rick Scott out of Florida. I think you are offering the premise that somehow debate within the Democratic Party is a bad or unhealthy thing, and I'm embracing it. I think that this party needs generational debate about the issues. We have been too much in the lockstep in the past. What is a problem for Americans is when the party that has the levers of power in the House and the Senate and the White House doesn't seem to have anybody with the courage to tell the dear leader that, hey, you might be mistaking Russia and Canada. They're both big, northern, cold countries, but one of them's an enemy and one of them's an ally.
I like that he didn't delve too deeply into the filibuster question because I think it was an attempt at a gotcha moment. But as a voter, I don't care that Democrats have tried to abolish the filibuster in the past and are now using it. They lost the fight to abolish it. This is apparently the way Republicans would like Congress to work. So the Democrats are just doing Congress the way Congress apparently should be done, according to the majority party. If Republicans don't like it, then maybe they should consider abolishing the filibuster. But for Democrats, filibustering is really the least they could do. It would at least show the American people that they're trying to do something, but honestly, I don't even like saying that because why is the bar so low for these Congress people? Meanwhile, you have House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries refusing to answer simple questions at press conferences.
Is it time for new leadership in the Senate?
Next question.
How is this leadership coming out of the left right now, whether it's from talking heads on mainstream media or channels like this one, or from people who are actually working in government? You're going to see a lot of people telling you what they think needs to happen to fix this country. They're going to be deep diving and dissecting everything that is wrong, what went wrong, how we got here, where we're going, blah, blah, blah. This is both a hallmark of a civilized society and the thing that can threaten a civilized society. It's polite discourse, it's intellectualism, it's bureaucracy to the point of inaction, discussing and debating the ethics of this, that, and the other until people's ears fall off, all instead of ever actually addressing societal and governmental issues, is what is going to tank the government. How long ago was Columbine? Just to give you an example, why are we still having the exact same gun debate nearly 30 years later? Really, the talking points are almost exactly the same as they were nearly 30 years ago, but the problem has gotten exponentially worse since then. But people are tired of the lax leadership coming out of the left. They're tired of electing leaders who won't fight for them, and it's drawing out people who are capable and willing to take them on and replace them. And I know some people are going to call me ageist, but it's not enough to say that I want younger people in office. That's not the whole thing. Age alone doesn't make you better or worse in any given position. But I am ready to see some turnover in Washington, D.C. I'm ready to see people like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer out of Congress. They have shown us time and time again that they aren't willing to do enough to serve and protect the American people. There are calls for AOC to primary Chuck Schumer. She's 35 years old. Nancy Pelosi is being challenged for her seat by Sekat Chakrabarti. He's 39 years old. Jake Auchincloss, who's going out of his way to state publicly that Democrats need to start thinking and acting differently, as if that's even such a hot take, is 37 years old. Here in Houston, our Harris County attorney, Christian Menefee, 37 years old, he just announced that he will be running for the congressional seat that was vacated when Sylvester Turner unexpectedly passed away recently. I'm 36 years old, so maybe I'm biased, but I am more excited to see more millennial representation in Congress because it is about time. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.